Thank you for watching this series aiming at preparing for the paradigm shift and mindset transitioning, redefining the philosophical meaning of society and establishing natural law as a model to overcome the prevailing world dystopia. When scrutinizing the AI trend, it is rather blatant that we are being groomed to accept the inevitable, that we must merge with machines for our own sake.
Elon Musk has a bold new forecast. The billionaire founder of Tesla and SpaceX said Monday that humans must someday merge with machines in order to avoid becoming obsolete.
There's not going to be a clear distinction between human and machine. The bottom line is we are one human-machine civilization. This technology has already expanded who we are, and it's going to go into high gear when we get to the steep part of the exponential.
Voluntarism called this coercion, yet many people regard it as the smartest option ever while not even realizing that they will have to submit to permanent mass surveillance embodied by the Internet of Things and rely on a brain-computer interface to be governed by AI. Voluntarism called this utter coercion. Moreover, and this is quite mind-boggling actually, how can so many assume that moving through this technological transition will ever generate freedom, considering that economics and science are the most questionable departments today? The Earth Custodian blogs has established this fact beyond any doubt. Those aspiring to technological immortality, swearing by the word evolution, are already beginning to deem as inferior any skeptics looking for long-term answers and restlessly questioning the scientists behind AI, since the latter never voice any concerns about the danger of centralization itself, a world structure that has been in place since aeons. The planet so far has only known much of the same, and with the expansion of knowledge, traps have only become more destructive. Yet those calling for caution are seen as inhabited by fear and antagonistic to evolution. As a matter of fact, it is a classical divide and conquer situation.
2016, the board warned that 3 minutes to midnight is too close, far too close. Since then, inaction and brinkmanship have continued. Saber-rattling and the rhetoric, and loose but dangerous rhetoric, have become almost commonplace. To convey its concern about this unique moment and issue a call to leaders and citizens across the globe to put the world on a safer footing, the board takes the unprecedented step, the first time in its history, of moving the clock hand 30 seconds closer to midnight. Today, we move the clock a half minute closer to midnight. It is now 2.5 minutes to midnight.
Competition and the competitive mindset is detrimental to any civilization. Yet a vast majority seems always to be okay with it and ready to walk into the same trap over and over, therefore, and thus accepts to be the enablers of their own demise. The word voluntarism implies non-coercive principles because fighting what is deemed evil requires a bigger evil to be applied, and so on. The world has been marching towards its day of reckoning, sold to the population as the only way to buy peace. Military budgets are skyrocketing on a planetary scale. Yet many still are more interested in football, celebrities, crypto speculation, and living beyond their means as if there are no tomorrows.
We have a new report out on poverty, highlighted here in Common Dreams. They say, eradicating extreme poverty and hunger, two of the Sustainable Development Goals agreed to by the United Nations in 2015, could be done with about 10% of the world's military spending. Wow.
Everybody would agree that war is legal murder, yet many buy into the Armageddon scenario hoping that the enemies will be destroyed first and quickly.
But the thing is, the way that everything is split up right now, the people at the top certainly don't want to do it. Why? They have all the power, they have all the control, they have all the money, and they don't want to fucking give it up. This is just like the Oxfam report, which found that, what are the numbers again? The bottom 50% of the world population. So at this point, that's 3.5 billion people. They have less than the top 80 people, or some crazy low number like that, 86 or something like that. So enough people that could fit on one of those double-decker buses, they have more wealth than half the world combined.
Money is a tool to achieve power and nothing else, as wealth cannot be created nor destroyed, but merely changes hands. And comprehending this is essential to embrace a futuristic society so that technology can be used for a greater good. A future presentation will delve into this premise much deeper. What we are seeing is the end of the materialist paradigm. It can no longer be stretched, and a breakthrough is the only exit possible.
Appeal 2017, comprising strategic and coordinated response plans covering 33 countries, is calling for 22.2 billion US dollars, the highest amount we have ever requested. This is a reflection of a state of humanitarian need in the world not witnessed since the Second World War.
In a dystopian society, truth does not sell well, simply because truth tackles what needs to be let go and points to the need for a radical inner change first. As a matter of fact, the world will not change until a critical mass begins to grasp that expecting the environment to change translates a lack of personal responsibility, not only towards the state of world affairs, but their own very existence. World politicians obviously do not care about killing millions or even billions of humans in the next World War to justify the staggering cost of peace.
Ages, which it seems, my guess is there probably will be at some point. I'm not predicting that we're about to enter dark ages, but that there's some probability that we will, particularly if there's a Third World War. Then we want to make sure that there's enough of a seed of human civilization somewhere else to bring civilization back and perhaps shorten the length of the Dark Ages. I think that's why it's important to get a self-sustaining base, ideally on Mars, because Mars is far enough away from Earth that a war on Earth, the Mars base might survive. It's more likely to survive than a moon base. But I think a moon base and a Mars base that could perhaps help regenerate life back here on Earth would be really important, and to get that done before a possible World War III.
Utopia is the only way out. Even if perfection does not exist, we can remain flexible mentally and correct what needs to be in a timely fashion. But this requires voluntarism. On the other hand, dystopia feeds on greed, fear, and control, and is clearly taking over because many cannot handle the idea that they are responsible for what is. Everything and all that happens to society, and spend more time whining and blaming the political classes instead.
I'm not really all that worried about the short-term stuff. Things that are, like narrow AI is not a species-level risk. It will result in dislocation, in lost jobs, and the sort of better weaponry and that kind of thing. But it is not a fundamental species-level risk, whereas digital superintelligence is. So it's really all about laying the groundwork to make sure that if humanity collectively decides that creating digital superintelligence is the right move, then we should do so very, very carefully. Very, very carefully.
Every human is responsible for what is, in the sense that every time we do not stand up for human sovereignty, ours and that of others, the machinations of power will grow exponentially until each of us is forced to do something about it. This is a natural law. This is how the universe works. We all are interconnected. Personal responsibility is inescapable, and this voids any blame game theories possible. Blame games operate within a certain scope, like gathering the pieces of the puzzle. Blame games evolved in the subjective realm and therefore have a limited spectrum. Beyond that, individual action must take over. And when the latter does not, there is a failure in personal responsibility. And this is all good for the culprits, who then can shift their karma onto populations. This is, in a nutshell, why the universe regards objective truths obtained by personal responsibility as paramount.